Hi, this is your coach, Joe Lucas, and welcome to this episode of the Magellan Network Show. Hey, in this episode, let's talk about what's going on in our environment, how to take advantage of it, how to put yourself at a peak state, how to stay resourceful, and quite frankly, how to separate yourself from all of your competitors. So let's dig in. Hey, look, here's our reality. When markets are good, and it's almost like investors, right? When markets are good, monkey in the dartboard can go make money. Well, when we have a very good economy and a very good market, almost literally any advisor can grow their business. Any advisor can increase their income because, the old saying, right? Rising tides lift all boats. Well, what happens when the tide goes out, right? That's really the question for today. Do you sit there and just say, well, the tide went up and I guess we're going to go down? Or do you say, you know what? I'm going to take the anchor and get it off the ground. I'm going to put it in the boat. I'm going to get my paddles out and I'm going to row and get the hell out of here, right? And I'm going to go create my own game. Because for many of you, this is the opportunity that you have. I've been talking to my personal clients about this scenario now for a while, and I said, the best thing for our business as in general is we have some sort of major correction or something like that because it will cull the herd. See, I personally believe a lot of advisors are just hanging on. They've had a good 10-year run. We know the average age of the industry, and this is not age biased by any stretch of the imagination, but it's really Pareto's Law. 20% of you are going to produce 80% of the revenue. So the question you have to ask yourself is, what bucket do you want to be in? Do you want to be in the 80% bucket, or do you want to be in the 20% bucket? So what does the 20% bucket look like? How does that feel? What's that look like? So let's talk a little bit about that. So in my experiences, and I've been, at this game now for over 26 years. So 2000, tech bubble, 08, 09, been there, done that. And none of them are exactly the same, but a lot of it is similar in terms of the psychology and how you approach this. So number one, you have to make a conscious decision on what this means to you. So number one, you can look at this as, oh my gosh, all this adversity, what are we going to do? And you go automatically into scarcity survival mode, which, by the way, that's what the 80% bucket does. They go in scarcity, they go in survival. The 20% go, okay, it is now going to be easier to have people talk. Prospects are going to want to talk to us. Referrals are going to want to talk to us. In essence, it's easier to engage in non-clients today because people have a heightened sense of awareness. They're in emotional pain / uncertainty, right? They don't know what to do. And quite frankly, I think of a lot of advisors just take the money and don't do shit, right? So don't be that person. That's the 80% bucket. What you need to do, being in the 20% bucket, is get super proactive. I've talked to clients now for the last, I talk to them all the time, but last 10 days or so, we're seeing more referrals. When you put a note out to your, email list and offer a phone call, there are now people taking those phone calls. Hey, I'd like to talk to you, right? So in essence, the business development becomes easier when you have market volatility because everybody's senses are raised. However, if you don't declare what this means to you, you'll get seduced into the other side. So that's number one. Okay. Either you look at this as an opportunity for growth, or it's an oh crap moment, hang on, and hopefully survive it. That's number one. 20%ers, it's all about opportunity. What else do you need to do? The second thing, this is about an opportunity to add massive value to your clients by proactively communicating, not raising alarms. People have said, hey, should I be doing a special this, special that? And no. The reality is, and we just had a meeting last week, the last part of February, early part of March, in Fort Lauderdale with my Magellan Elite Mastermind. And collectively, the people in the room, the members, we served about 3,000 households. And when we went around the table to find out basically how many calls, it was like under 1%. So the bottom line is this: 99% of your client base, they're just living their lives. Now, we as an industry eat, breathe, and sleep this stuff. Most of your clients don't, thank God, right? However, it's still a good idea to check in with them. So being the 20%ers are going to be proactive. They're going to reach out. They're going to communicate without fear. And they're going to make that happen. In addition to that, they're going to have a level of certainty and congruency. People ask me a lot of times, advisors ask me, Joe, what's the most important thing an advisor does in a relationship? And I've always said certainty and congruency. And they like, what's that? Well, that's not a financial plan. That's not an asset allocation. When the S hits the fan, and basically, a client calls, or you're having a conversation with them, or you're having a review with them, they're reading you. And if they feel that you're uncertain, you're incongruent, right? They get that vibe, whether that vibe's on the phone, video conference, or in person. And so for you, the 20%er, you need to make sure that you're locked in. That's why your morning ritual, in our game, we call it our Magellan Morning 8. Like, you're locked in on your beliefs, the value you bring, how you operate. The most important meeting you need to have is a meeting with yourself every morning to make sure that you're serving others, right? So we need to do that. What do the 80%ers do? They don't want to engage in conversation. They're, whatever you want. Like, they have no position, right? They just want to, try to make the client happy. So if the client wants to sell out and make them happy, you just screwed them. And you're getting paid for a privilege. You know what? Maybe you should retire. Maybe it's time to go. So the 80%ers are going to buy into all the bullshit. They're going to buy into the noise, everything else that happens. 20%ers are going to chart their own course, right? What else do 20%ers do? 20%ers are not in their head. Now, what do I mean by that? When you get inside of here, on the video side, you can be touching my head. If you start talking about how this affects you, what you have to overcome, right? And, you kind of start victimizing yourself, right? You are worthless to any other human being, right? So when you get a bunch of the me's in the I's, right, you're dead. So what the 20%ers do is they control their internal dialogue. They control their focus, and they get what we call external. External means you get into the service of others. You don't worry about yourself. You go, I got to take care of, Mary Smith, I'm sure she's not, I got to give her a call, or I've got to talk to my CPAs, let them know as they do their tax returns, hey, we're here to serve the people, their clients, if they're concerned, and if they're not hearing from their advisor, man, we want to go out, we want to get out there, let everybody know we're here to help. Right? And that's not about setting off alarm bells. A lot of people say, well, isn't that like, crisis management? No, it's not. It's messaging in an environment that people are looking for messaging, proper messaging, okay? And by the way, proper messaging is not taking some garbage research report that one of your analysts or you got your fingers on and say, here it is, this is whatever we think. That's cool. Nobody reads those, by the way. Nobody reads them. Maybe 1 or 2% of your clients do. So it's just noise, right? Talk to them. Well, Joe, we pushed out our people came up with this thing about the coronavirus, stuff like that. We pushed out. Okay, yeah, so what? So what? What is that going to do for you? Nothing, right? Talk to them. But you can't talk to them if you're in your own head, okay? So that's the other thing 20%ers do. They get external. 80%ers are inside, all worried about themselves, what this means. Oh my God, I got to talk to people today, and everybody's going to be calling me, and the market's going to be crappy today, and they get in that mindset, right? And you know what? That is like the athlete who wins by mistake, and they actually think they're good, right? So this is where that we separate. I've been waiting for this for years, because for my clients, I operate with 20%ers. It's going to be easier for us to grow our businesses. It's going to be easier for us to go get new households. It's going to be easier for us to elevate and serve even more people. So that's exciting to me. Super exciting. So what else do the 80%? What else do the 80%ers don't do, right? That they need to be doing. It's all about mindset. So to me, I've talked about this in other videos. There's basically, there's 3 what we call conditions of an advisor, right? Condition number 1, scarcity survival. And we all start in our businesses. Hey, as a coach, I started my career in scarcity survival mode. You got nothing, right? You're building from scratch, right? And then you get to a place where you have abundance. So that means like you're paying your bills plus 10 to 20%, okay? The problem is that it's a false flag. Abundance is not the goal. I know that sounds like what do you mean? If your goal in this game is to be abundant and comfortable, you're dead. Because eventually market conditions will slide you out of abundance, out of comfort, and put you right back in scarcity survival mode. The true goal is to be in what we call prosperity or prosperous. That's that third condition. That is the real goal. Prosperity is you don't worry about money anymore. You don't worry about production. You're here to just serve others. You're playing a game at a much higher level. You're adding massive value. You're building your team. You're just a true leader, not just of your team, but also of your clients. And this is what I think a lot of advisors have no clue or concept on is leadership. And we kind of look at it from a standpoint of, well, let's go lead our teams. And that's great. And, I do a lot of work around that. So it is valuable. It is important. It's a must. But the other place you have to lead is you have to lead your clients. You have to claim your authority as an advisor. You have to be able to sit there and say, no, that is a bad idea, Mr. or Mrs. Client. Here's why. And you've got to stick to your guns, and you can't worry about whether they're going to fire you. Now, if you operate in, and this is where that scarcity game comes in. If you're in scarcity, you will not tell the truth to your clients. Because you're going to sit there and your brain's going to go, we really can't lose this. And that's $10,000 revenue every year. Oh, and so you'll back off and you won't tell the truth. And I see that over and over and over again. So you have to make a declaration to yourself if you're going to lead and not just hang, right? That is super important. Those are some things that I need all of you to be aware of. The 20%ers lead. They lead their teams, they lead their clients, but most importantly, they lead themselves. What else do the 20%ers do? And if you follow me on LinkedIn and you're playing that game there, hey, there are some really good advisors who really put out some great content. What they do, they put their personality out there. You get to know them. And I'm not going to get into names. I follow a lot of them, and you can just I watch their content versus the stuff that goes out on socialware, right? Which is all garbage, BS noise, right? Your true, authentic self. The 20%ers understand that they are a personal brand, right? I don't care what your broker-dealer affiliation is, what your firm affiliation is. Nobody hires you because of the name on your business card. Those days are gone. They died. The last gasping breath was the spring of 2009, and it died, okay? This game is all about you, period. And so and 20%ers understand that. And they'll sit there and they claim their authority. They claim their identity, right? They claim their personal brand. What do the 80%ers do? They blame their entity. The firm, my compliance, my support, my branch manager, my OSJ, whatever, right? Everybody, it's everybody else's fault but the man or woman in the mirror. And these people they've been at this game for 10, 20, 30 years and they haven't grown. It's like a hobby. They play at it. They're not committed. And look, let's be truthful here. This is a simple business, not easy. It's hard work. Any coach tells you, oh, we're going to make this thing turnkey for you. And so they're lying to you. They just want your money. It's bullshit. It doesn't work that way. I've never seen it. And I've seen every other program that's been out there, right? My clients have been involved in a lot of these. So I get the inside. I've talked to some of the coaches who worked inside of those games, and they tell me it's all BS, right? So this requires energy, effort, and commitment. This is not a JOB. It is not. You do not have a BOSS. It doesn't work that way. The way this works is you get out there and you get your butt in motion and you get highly uncomfortable. The one game that I play with all my clients inside of Magellan Network is, and the one saying I always have an uncomfortable day. Now, what person would wish that on another person, right? Hey, what do you mean uncomfortable? Because that's where the game is. That's where the growth is. That's where the impact is. If your goal in life is to be comfortable, you'll do that. But then don't sit there and bitch, moan, and complain about why you're not growing your business by 20%, or how come all those other people are doing really good and I'm not. I can tell you why. They're willing to go out there and play the game, get uncomfortable. You're not. Case closed. End of story. Nothing else matters. Until you decide to say, you know what, I'm going to declare that it's time for me to get off my butt. Until you declare it's time to go get uncomfortable and create something greater than yourself, to add massive value, massive impact to the other human beings around you, you got no game. You have a job, you have to make a little money for your family, you're in scarcity mode, you may pop into abundance every once in a while, but prosperity, you didn't even know what that looks like. That's the truth. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to think about this conversation that we're having today and ask yourself, in the midst of all this whirlwind, are you really ready to declare? Because right now, we have a beautiful situation. We have boomers retiring. This, by the way, this will also hasten some of the advisor retirements. So if you're one of those people, hey, I appreciate you watching, listening, this message is not going to mean anything to you. But if you're not going to retire anytime soon, and you want to make your best, your best years, your last years, right? So in other words, we never coast. I've got clients in their 70s, and you know what we do? We play the game. There's no retirement age in our game. You could do this thing. I've got clients we want to be vibrant into their 80s. My personal goal is I want to be coaching at 80. I want to put 50 years under my belt in this game. Make a choice, make a decision. Don't just come to work every day and try to make some money. Have a grander vision than yourself. And I'm offering you 30 days of my time, MagellanNetwork.net. Come see how we really play the game. Come see how 170 plus advisors play the game with me each and every day, 7 days a week, 365. All right? Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching this episode of Magellan Network Show. This is Coach Joe Lucas. I got to say it. Have an uncomfortable day. So there you have it. If you really enjoyed watching this episode, go ahead and subscribe to the Magellan Network Show with Coach Joe here on YouTube. And remember, I'm always here to help you become a better entrepreneur, business owner, and financial advisor. With that, I'll see you next time on the Magellan Network Show with me, Coach Joe. Take care and goodbye.